Okay. There you go. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Try to get this to work. I'm Pier Kuipers. Just to let you know, I've been asked to just talk. Actually, I asked Lasso to do this talk on command line applications and Lasso. I thought everybody was already doing that. Apparently not. Sorry, can you hear me all right? Yeah?
If you could speak up, just be clear and loud.
Okay. I've come back from Dublin, where I live, to Amsterdam to be at the Lasso conference. I keep saying Lasso, by the way, apparently it's Lasso, so you have to forgive me for that one. I've been living in Dublin since 1986, and I've been using Lasso since 1998, thereabouts, whatever. 3.6, it was version 3.6 at the time. I own a company called Visual ID, and Visual ID is a company that specializes in online digital asset management, and we've been doing that for the last 10 years. And it's only beginning to take off now, so far so good. It's all built in Lasso, of course, and it uses command line applications extensively. So hopefully I'll be in a position to talk about that. I have been concentrating on this little document, and this presentation I've only thrown together yesterday on the train, so, you know, most of the information will be in here. I think Fletcher is looking after making all this material available on, I think, the Lasso site, or on Lasso Tech, I'm not sure, but hopefully we'll be able to fill that, some code examples on that as well, so I might keep an eye out for that. So basically, first thing we're going to talk about is that Lasso, as we know, can do quite a lot, and it has grown extensively over the last couple of years, version 5 and 6. So things like, for example, image manipulation and PDF generation, it can all be done within Lasso now. Still, there always remains things that Lasso can't always do the job they want it to do, and that's where the command line comes in, or other ways to get Lasso to do other things, or work with other applications. By the way, CLI apps is usually what is referred to, command line interface applications in the longer term for that. Now, why would we use them? Now, first of all, of course, we want to do things that Lasso just can't do. For example, work with video files or something along those lines. Or you may want to do things with Lasso that Lasso doesn't have built in, but it doesn't do a good enough job. That's, that's one way of putting it. But for example, I tend to use ImageMagick directly, even though Lasso has image tags built in, and it's had its own version of ImageMagick. But that means that you're relying on the installation of Lasso with its version of ImageMagick, whereas you can, of course, build your own one and then use that instead, which is what I tend to do most of the time. So some examples that you would use the command line for is, for example, symbolic links on the file system. When you're working with video files, like I said, working directly with ImageMagick, or interacting with things like Subversion or other source code control software, or rsync, things like that. And of course, working with like really weird file formats such as Microsoft Word, things like that. Now, first of all, of course, you have to know how to use the command line yourself before you can tell Lasso what to do. So that's one of the most obvious things. So you have to know what you're doing. The first stop would be the terminal. I refer to the terminal because most of us, as you look around here, are using macOS 10. There are, of course, people who don't. And I have been talking to my new employee, fresh employee in the last week and a half, who's actually using Linux. And I've been trying my little bits of code example on him as well, and it works. So, you know, it seems that these things are okay. First of all, I'd like to read the manual. As I said, there's plenty of good books out there on how to use the terminal, how to use the command line. There's one called Unix for macOS 10, available from O'Reilly. Now, the first thing to remember is that there's different ways that Lasso can interact with the command line, and some of them are a bit unorthodox. So the first one is OS processing, which is built into Lasso since version 6, I think, or 7. I'm not sure. It's now built into Lasso. There's pass-through, and there's another one called include URL. Now that's my own contraption, my own way of doing things, and we'll explain how that works, but it is another possibility. Of course, there are certain security implications for working with the command line. First of all, by using the command line, you actually give the user, or give Lasso access to the entire file system, so they can do all sorts of dangerous things in theory. If you're working in a hosted environment, as in if you don't run your own servers, but use a service provider, then they'll probably have certain restrictions in place on using the command line. So you have to talk to the likes of Chris Week or whatever to help you out with that one, what can be done. Now also, when you're dealing with the command line, you have to keep in mind that you're working as the Lasso user, which is the user that's installed or that's created automatically when you install Lasso on your machine. That user is invisible, in fact, you won't see it. The permission, obviously, all the files that you're working with through the command need to be set so that Lasso can access them. The Lasso user is a hopeless user. You can't actually see it. So if you go into your user set, your account setup, you won't be able to see Lasso there, but sometimes actually, I don't think you can, let's put it that way. Okay? So you have to keep in mind that you can't sort of use it in exactly the same way as you would when you're sitting in front of the terminal. Okay? Because the Lasso user is usually not even logged in, so it doesn't have a home as such. So for example, now, for example, on the terminal, you're going to go to the folder where you want to perform your actions. Okay, so in the terminal, you use the cd command to go to wherever the script is that you want to execute using Lasso. Okay, if you list the file, then there's your permissions. Okay, this is what we're trying to get at. So you can see that there's a script. This, by the way, is the code examples that I've provided that Fletcher is supposed to be made available. There's a script called hello, which is a shell script, and all it does is it says hello world. So you try and run that. So you have to check the permissions on it that they're set so that Lasso can actually execute. Now, if you look at it at the moment, it's me. So the script is set so that I can run it as if I'm the owner with the group, and other people can only read it, they can't actually execute it. So if Lasso is trying to execute that script by typing that command, you get permission denied. Okay, so you'll have to first of all check that Lasso can actually run these scripts and set permission. I have my own server, so I have this very simple command where you just basically set permissions so everybody can do everything. That's not very secure way of doing it, of course. It's actually you run the CH mode. I'm assuming quite a bit of knowledge, of course, of how these things work, but you know, everything should be revealed. So you change your permissions so that the hello script can be actually executed by other people typing your password. You change the ownership by typing in CHO, then Lasso being the user and the name of the script. And that will now change, that will change so that Lasso can actually execute the thing. The other thing is that security implications mean that if you're running commands or running tags that use the command line, you'll have to authenticate. So what you usually do is you put it in an inline, which is another talk in another room, by the way, and you give it the OS username, and password. As we're talking about that a bit more, the command line stuff goes in the middle.